Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and today it is an insane news video. There's so much happening today. I've been hyping it up for a while, right? Saying, hey, look, the 9th of January, that's today. That is the day that Raid Shadow Legends releases on Steam. There is bound to be something cool going alongside that. Here it is. We've got a massive collaboration between Raid Shadow Legends and Monster Hunter. I don't know if you guys played Monster Hunter. I played them a little bit. I sort of enjoy them casually. But yeah, they're pretty cool games. They're big games for sure. So this is a pretty insane collab. If we zoom on here, there's lots of stuff in here. What I want to focus on though is this. 5 different champions are coming to the game as part of this, and we're going to be looking at them and breaking them down and talking about how to get them. 5 different champions, they're basically inspired by Monster Hunter, which is awesome. First of all, I actually saw this guy. I think he is not part of it. Let's look at him first, though. We have a new mythical champion who has come to the game with this patch as well, Androck the Glorious. Let's look at him first. Again, he is not part of the Monster Hunter collab, but we have 5 others that are. Defense-based mythical, though. Massive base defense, huge base speed, a good resistance. He has a 35% defense in all battles aura. That's huge. That's really big. Let's see his passive first. 10 resist. Increases his resist by 10 for every buff on every ally. Each critical hit inflicted by allies fills the turn meters of all allies by 5%. Now, that seems very strong. And I would assume that multi-hit skills, like AoE multi-hits, could potentially juice up your turn meter loads. This seems very powerful, and he's going to have tons of resist as well. That is strong. That's super strong. Very strong. How does he transform? Okay, metamorph. He just transforms. That's fine. I don't know, like, it's kind of cool. They've given a lot of these mythicals custom icons. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if I love it. I was like, man, you could just have a basic icon, but it's also kind of cool at the same time, I guess. What do you think about that? It's not really important, but there you are. Pride's Bite is A1, attacks one enemy, puts 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 1 turn. That's interesting. It's very short, but again, with a counterattack or ally attack or something like that, you get pretty good increased defense uptime. That's very strong for an A1. Radiant Claw AoE 4 turn goes to a 3 turn cooldown. AoE attack, increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, and heals all allies by 4% max HP for every buff on them that had its duration increased. So yeah, with Demitha, this does a lot of healing. I guess we'll see exactly how much healing it does. It's hard to judge it just from this, like in practice, how strong is the heal. But look, it's an AoE attack with ally buff extension. That's solid move. Let's see this one. This is probably his key move here. Rock of Werenbur. 5 turn goes to a 3 turn cooldown. You want to book this. Increase resist 50%, 25% strengthen, and continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Puts an additional continuous heal buff on allies with less than 50% HP for 2 turns. So yeah, very strong, right? You're looking at champ. Compare him to, let's say, Awella, right? He comes in, increase resist, strength, and continuous heal on everyone for 2 turns. Then the next turn, he extends them all and heals you even more, potentially giving you increased defense as well. Yeah, so you're looking at a whole bunch of tankiness, a whole bunch of turn meter boost. Pretty cool. Very cool. Actually, Form 1, I like it. It's just a good, solid champion that's like, yep, I'm making your team super tanky. I'm protecting us. I'm healing us. Just a tank through, like a very paladin style tank protecting. Let's see his transformation. Oh, that's sick. Cool. Hey, nice. I was wondering if he turned into like an actual lion. But no, he has a lion face on him. All right, that's cool. Awesome. He turns into a support champion, so the speed is still high. HP is high. Defense goes down, but it's still extremely high, actually, and resistance actually sort of split. All right, Lionheart increases accuracy by 10 for every buff on each enemy. Each critical hit inflicted by allies decreases the turn meters of enemies by 5%. Guessing he's going to be a buff stripper. This could be good for some Cursed City, maybe some arena stuff. Let's take a look. Still the same aura. Okay. The Metamorph still just works. Okay, cool. Guild's Thorn Assault A1 attacks one enemy, 50% chance straight up of putting decreased defense on all enemies for 1 turn. Again, that's a great A1. AoE decreased defense, though only for a turn. Palisade Breaker 4 goes to a 3 turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, puts decreased resist, weaken, and enfeeble on all enemies. If enemies have 50% HP or less, the Enfeeble debuff cannot be removed. Okay, that is actually insanely strong. Enfeeble makes it so that I think you cannot crit, right? Enfeeble, that's probably at the bottom because it's new. Yeah, champions under Enfeeble. Oh, sorry, they can only land weak hits. It's even better. Weak hits mean you cannot place debuffs and anything. That's huge. AoE Enfeeble. That's extremely good. The decreased resistance, not as useful, I would say, although he is potentially getting some boosted accuracy. We'll see what his A3 is to make that useful. But man, I think certainly for Cursed City, that's insane. That is so good. In double bosses, everything, right? Roar of Kithris, 4-turn goes to 3-turn cooldown, removes all buffs from all enemies, does pure damage to each enemy equal to 5% of the target's max HP for every buff removed, cannot be critical, and puts block buffs on all enemies without buffs for 2 turns. So he strips up pure damage. That's interesting. Pure damage. They've not used this phrase all that often. That's cool. Seems straightforward. You strip off 5 buffs, you do, what, 25% max HP nuke. That's potentially a big nuke. Yeah, that's pretty sick, but I love it. AoE Enfeeble, that is absolutely massive. So yeah, what do we think about Andrak the Glorious? To me, he looks very solid as just like, yeah, all the sort of Doom Tower, Cursed City type stuff. Could even be okay for Hydra. You know, he is giving you AoE block buffs on a 3-turn. An AoE weaken. Enfeeble even could be quite useful for Hydra as well. Stop them really doing anything. That could actually be really strong. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happening there with him, so that is cool. Next up, let's look at our Blade Master, Rathalos Blade Master, the first of the champions here coming in as part of the Monster Hunter thing. And this guy, if we jump over to our deck, let me see how and when to get this guy, Rathalos Blade Master. You will be getting, we'll cover all of these, don't worry, from the 7-day loyalty program. We're also going to see the new fusion here today as well. And that loyalty program does begin on the 9th of January. So yeah, Rathalos Blade Master, he is the new login legendary. Let's check him out. Attack in all dungeons, 30%. Lovely. A1, Spirit Thrust. One enemy attack. 50%, that goes to a 65% chance of putting decreased defense for 2 turns. If the target's a boss, it cannot be resisted. I mean, it's a solid A1. Definitely between this part and his passive here. Definitely looking like someone meant to help you in dungeons. We'll see, though. Spirit Step Slash. 4 goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy. Every second use of this skill in a round will attack all enemies instead. This is so unique. So first time he uses it, single target. Second time, AoE. That's insane. I wonder if there's different multipliers or if it just works the same. It's just an AoE hit. That is absolutely huge, though. Ignores 25% target's defense. If the target is a boss, ignores 100% defense. That is insanely good. Yeah, we'll come back to it, but this is nuts, right? So just by default, a 25% ignore defense move is still really solid, but man, 100% ignore defense is crazy. This could hit insanely hard. Overhead Slash, 4-turn goes to 3-turn, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, puts increased crit damage and increased speed on this champion for 2 turns. Simple enough. Then Rathalos Mastery inflicts 50% more damage against targets under HP burn debuffs. Receives 20% less damage from enemies under HP burn debuffs. Every 5th skill used by this champion does 200% more damage. Oh boy, he's also got very good base speed for a damage dealer. 105 is really solid. Yeah, this guy, I think he's looking kind of insane. This looks like a great login champion. Like, I'm looking at him and thinking, man, you could make him work for Hydra. And say, put him in a reflex set, right? This move is going to be ignoring 100% defense anyway against those bosses. Every second hit is an AoE. Every 5th one is going to do 200% more damage. Like, maybe you need to weave in some overhead slash to make the AoE version of Spirit Step Slash bonus from that 200%. But like, that's going to hit so... yeah, you put him into Hydra with someone that's doing AoE HP burn. He's taking less damage. He's going to help him stay alive. He's going to be slamming out these AoE 100% defense ignore hits. And he's going to hit so hard, right? He also brings decreased defense, which is really good. This guy looks nuts. The only issue in Hydra is that with a couple of buffs right here, that could be a problem. You know, potentially could be a problem with the Head of Mischief, he'd be targeted, so maybe you can't use those. I don't know. Could be a little awkward. We'll have to see. When Head of Mischief's not there, he's going to rip him apart, though. And he looks nuts, right? He looks absolutely nuts. Yeah, he looks crazy. Boss killer with this move. It's really going to be interesting. Merciless set would be insane, but if you're earlier in the game, normally for damage dealer, you need Savage or Lethal or something. But because he's got 100% ignore defense on the boss, you could give him War Master. And just accept that his other moves are going to hit a little bit more like weaker because of that. Like, yeah, just not have him in... I'm curious. Do you put him in Savage, Lethal, and like Helm Smasher and have these moves hit harder? Probably not. I think you give him War Master and Reflex, maybe Merciless, and have him slam out this, or Relentless and have him slam this out. This guy seems insane. That is very hype. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with him as part of... yeah, as a login loyalty program. They've all been really good. He looks to continue that trend. Next up, we've got Nergigante Archer. These are hard words to say, man. So she, I think it's Rathalos Nergigante Archer. How do you say that? She's coming from shards and in-game activities, which is interesting. We've got, by the way, 2 of these other ones are shards and in-game activities. One is champion fragments. We know that's a fusion. And then we've got, I think he's a void one who's just from shards. So very curious how these are going to be obtained. But potentially in-game activities could be a hero's path, a guaranteed champion event, something. So let's see, is she good? She certainly looks cool. I love the helmet with no eye holes. I think it's great. It looks so cool. Totally impractical, but damn, it looks good. Stats standard enough across the board. Very high defense, though she doesn't have much crit damage, but good speed, just solid. Defense in dungeons, 30%. Okay, cool. Charge shot, A1, puts increased accuracy in this champion for 2 turns. Okay, cool. Spinning shot, 4 turn, goes to a 3 turn cooldown when booked. Attacks all enemies. That can stun. Books to 100% chance to stun. AoE, 3 turn cooldown. Fantastic. If the target's a boss, puts decreased speed for 2 turns instead. That's cool. Decreased turn meters of enemies under stun placed by this skill by 20%. Heals the turn meters of all allies by 10% if a decreased speed debuff is placed by the skill instead. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So just, you know, for Doom Tower, for Arena, for Cursed City, anywhere, AoE stun on a 3 turn, very strong. Again, for Cursed City or any of the bosses, like double bosses in Cursed City, you've got an AoE decreased speed. That's good. For Hydra, AoE decreased speed. I wonder, does this just proc once? Or let's say in Hydra, I put 4 decreased speeds. Do we get 40% turn meter? Like, that's probably way too strong. So I assume not. I assume it's just 10%. But that's interesting and potentially turn meter pushback. Rapid shot, 4 turn, goes to a 3 turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, puts Hex for 2 turns and Provoke for 1 turn. If the target's a boss, puts Hex for 3 turns, Provoke for 2 turns instead. This champion's insane. I'll tell you right now, guys, this champion is insane. Let's look at the passive first. She is super good. Nergigante Ambition. Heals all allies by 10% max HP when hitting enemies under Hex. Oh my god. If there are multiple champions on the team, only one activates. Okay, increase this champion's defense by 5% each time this champion receives a hit from an enemy under Hex. Stacks up to 30%. That's going to stack up pretty fast. She has AoE Hex Provoke, so against waves, she's going to build up to 30% defense bonus very quickly. She might be a decent damage dealer. She's got 2 AoE attacks on 3 turn cooldowns. She could actually be a pretty good damage dealer that's also healing your team. But look at this. This is just insane. So again, against waves, AoE Hex Provoke. Lock them down with Provoke. Then AoE stun them as well. Like, that is disgusting. Against Hydra, right? AoE Hex and 2 turn Provoke on a 3 turn cooldown against Hydra. That is absurdly good. Like, that is so good. Molly Tankard is the only other champion in the game, as far as I remember, with 2 turn Provoke, and hers isn't even 100%. That is so strong, but this is AoE. Of course, that makes it auto-friendly. You get the AoE Hex as well. She also brings you in AoE decreased speed and some turn meter. Maybe she could Mischief tank with increased accuracy. That's probably a bit much. But man, she's giving you healing as well. This champion is freaking sick. She is super good. Okay, that is insane. All of these champs are insane so far. All of them are insane so far. Okay, here we've got the Fatalis Blade Master. He looks really cool. He looks like Aatrox or something like that. He looks sick. And again, this guy, he is only available from shards, so this might be there's going to be 10x or maybe a progressive chance event or something, but this is probably going to be the most limited one. All of these champions are gone. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. All these champions are gone from the 5th of March, so I guess they're unobtainable then. I'm not sure what this means, the end date 27th of February versus the 5th of March. Like, what is the difference between these two? I don't really know. Like, you would... That's a bit confusing, because I can see, obviously, the end date for Zingore, that's when the fusion will end. The fusion's going to be from the 11th to the 23rd. I guess she's still going to be obtainable until the 5th of March from shards, perhaps, though. Zingore Blade Master. Nerganante, she's available from the 9th. I don't know what the end date is. They all have end date. All these 4, they all have end date 27th February. So I wonder if that's just sort of brought across into deactivation. I think after deactivation, they're no longer obtainable. Anyway, we're getting aside. But this guy just from shards, so he's void as well. Gonna be 100% the hardest to get. I guess just from shards, it doesn't rule out like a guaranteed champion event or something. But yeah, let's take a look at him. 35% HP in arena battles aura. That is massive. Charge slash A1. Attacks one enemy, ignores 15% defense. If this attack is critical, 20% chance of extra turn, 30% damage from books. So he's the damage dealer, a HP nuker through and through. He's got 63% crit damage as well, 23,000 HP, 104 speed is good. He's even quite darn tanky with that defense. So yeah. Right, cool. 15% ignore defense built in. That can ignore extra turn. He's always going to... You're always building him 100% crit, right? So he's always going to crit. He's always ignoring defense. I mean, if he doesn't crit, it's not going to do much damage anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Wide slash. 4 turn goes to 3 turn cooldown. 30% damage from books again. Attacks one enemy. Ignores strengthen, stone skin, increased defense, ally protection, and 15% defense if he crits. Decrease target's attack by 10%, stacking to 30. That's quite cool, right? So permanently decreasing their defense, their attack. It's a nifty little thing. Okay, but it's a single target, 15% ignore defense, ignoring a lot of buffs as well. So shields will get in the way, but ignores ally protection, stone skin, increased defense strength. It's basically all the other defensive buffs pretty much. Ignoring stone skin is certainly really nice. That is juicy. Very, very juicy. Not many champs can do that. Ignoring ally protection is good. Again, shields will get in the way. They will fluster him, but still, that's pretty cool. Strong wide slash. 4 turn goes to 3 turn cooldown, 30% damage from books, attacks all enemies, ignores 15% defense if he crits, decrease target's defense by 5%, stacking up to 30. That is really strong as well. Just constantly stacking up ignore defense. Not ignore defense, excuse me, defense reduction. Very good. I don't know if this would stack with the blessing, cruelty, that gives you ignore defense or defense reduction. Probably not. I think Noose doesn't. But hey, look, I mean, still, it's AoE, stacking up ignore defense reduction. He's going to hit real hard then with that defense reduction and the ignore defense stuff put together. Kind of cool. Okay. True charge slash. Attacks one enemy. This is a secret skill. There's no cooldown. Yeah, secret skill. Secret skill only becomes available when any 3 of the champion skills were used in a round. So I guess he comes in, maybe turn 1, you kill someone with stone skin. Turn 2, AoE attack. Turn 3, do his A1, 20% chance, and then bam, you're either from the 20% or just from his next turn into the true charge slash. Attacks one enemy, ignores 50% defense, builds his turn meter by 50% if it's critical. Damage inflicted by the skill cannot be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries except by passive skills of bosses. Damage inflicted by the skill cannot be increased by masteries or ally passive skills except when attacking bosses. It's a secret skill, only becomes available. Okay, interesting. I wonder how hard this hits. It's a big hitter. It's not like a lot of the other secret skills. You know, I'm thinking of Mortu Macab, I'm thinking of Volcanen. Like they have block revive, and that's super powerful. He doesn't have that. It's just going to be a really big single target hit with a bunch of turn meter. That's cool. Very like Karato Fox Hunter with the whole cannot be affected by masteries. I will say though, I think you'd still build him with standard enough damage masteries anyway. Every other skill is going to be benefiting off of those. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, so he comes in. Let's say just an Hydra or like a boss fight or something, or wave content. So does his A3, does his A2, does an A1. He comes back. He then does his secret move, A2. I think, like, does his secret move count towards itself? Does that help you unlock it? I don't know. We'll have to test it out. Interesting stuff. And Fatalis Legend puts a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% max HP for 2 turns at the end of their turn. The champion cannot receive critical hits while under a shield buff placed by this champion. Well, that is very strong. Now, he needs to take a turn. He needs to survive the first turn. But, like, so long as he does, he's giving himself a big shield every single time. That's really hard to deal with. That's tough. That's tough. Like, you have to block buffs or strip him off. Like, the only way to try break the shield with damage, well, you can't crit him. So that becomes really, really nasty. Wow, this guy could be insane. What do you guys think? This guy could actually be insane. Tanky damage dealer. He's just going to do tons of damage. He can pop off with extra turns. Yeah, he's going to decrease your defense permanently. Yeah, he seems nuts, right? This guy seems nuts. Wow, okay. Next one, Knights Revenant. We've got Alatrion Blade Master. Looking pretty cool as well. All right, Alatrion Blade Master. Speed in all dungeons, 30%. He's a support champion. 110 speed, massive speed. And good stats apart from that. Foresight / attacks one enemy. 40% goes to 55% chance of increasing the duration of 2 random buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Okay, interesting. Quite random. This is not going to be something, obviously, I think you really plan around. This is just going to be a nice bonus. That's fine. It's an A1. You sort of expect that. Reaping /4 books to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, puts increased defense and shield on all allies for 2 turns. Shields equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Ooh, if the target's a boss, these buffs are protected. Yo, that is great. That's a lot of defense and shield. A big shield. That's a very big shield. And it can be protected against bosses. And it's an AoE attack as well. Great move. That's really, really solid. Yeah, very, very good. Very nice. Cleanser Booster. 5-turn goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Removes all debuffs from all allies and puts block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. If a boss is present in the current round, this buff is protected. Ooh, that's, again, excellent. I'm thinking specifically against Head of Mischief, the Griffin boss as well. These bosses that can steal or remove your buffs. That's fantastic. That is really good. Alatrion Divinity fills his turn meter by 5% every time a debuff is placed on him, and heals his champion by 5% whenever a debuff placed on them expires or is removed. Right. He's going to be pretty tanky. Interesting stuff. Got AoE cleanse with block debuffs, AoE with increased defense and big shields. Again, really solid champ, I would say. Really solid. Yeah, pretty cool. And then I think we've got one more to go, by the way. So that guy, Alatrion Blade Master, he's going to be available from shards and in-game activities. Then the final one is our fusion, who is the fusion that starts on the 11th. So she should be here. Yeah, here she is. It's the Zingore Blade Master. She looks pretty cool. There's actually daggers that look exactly like this in World of Warcraft. Exactly like that. World of Warcraft stole them. I guess they didn't have the fur, but hey, she looks cool. Very cool. She is the new fusion. Let's check her out. 104 speed, so she's fast. She is a bit squishy. She's got the crit damage though. Speed in dungeons, 30%. Massive aura. Check her out. Blade combo. Attacks one enemy 3 times. 30% chance of placing weakened for 2 turns. I wonder if that's per hit or not. It's a little bit unclear here. I guess we'll find out when testing. But triple hit A1. Really good for Fire Knight. Excellent. Weaken. Okay. Blade Strike. 4 goes to 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit increases champ's turn meter by 5%. So 20% turn meter boost. And puts increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Okay. Okay. Blade Spin. Oh, single target as well. Oh, she's entirely single target. 4-turn goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Before attacking, puts increased attack on this champ for 2 turns. Lovely. First and second hit have a 75 to 100% chance of putting leech. Third and fourth, 75 to 100 of decreased attack for 2 turns. Okay, and her passive, Zingore Essence, so a bit complicated. So the passive always on, increase the damage champ deals by 1% for every 1% of HP lost, stacking up to 50%. So by the time she's at half HP, she's at 50% bonus damage. Doesn't go any higher. This increased damage doubles if it targets under a decreased defense effect. What exactly does that mean? I guess, let's say she's at 50% HP. So she's getting 50% bonus. I guess if they've decreased defense, she gets an additional 50% bonus for a 100% damage boost total, I would assume. That's a ton of damage. Like, that is a lot of damage. So you would probably really want her to be about half health. She's going to do double damage when she's at half health. Most of the time against nearly any boss. Like, that's insane. That's, yeah, interesting. Prevents this champion's death. Keeps them alive on 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit. If this skill prevents her death, heals her by 50% max HP. Will not prevent her death if she's under heal reduction. Well, heal reduction's super rare. You're not going to run into that very much, so that should be fine. Wait, does Fire Knight do heal reduction? Maybe he does. Is that something to watch for? Intriguing. That is an intriguing champion. I wonder what you use her for. So obviously for Fire Knight, like, she's bringing you multi-hits, increased speed for your team. She's bringing decrease attack, weaken. Increase attack, she's going to do a ton of single target damage herself, a ton of multi-hits. She's going to rip them apart. She's not bringing any freezes or turn meter control for Fire Knight, though. She's doing turn meter on herself. Weird. Yeah, she's a wacky one. She's a wacky one, actually. Let me just double check. Fire Knight, does Fire Knight do heal reduction? I don't remember, because you never really get hit by him. Boss guide. Decreased speed, decreased defense. No, so hard Fire Knight does not. What about normal Fire Knight? It should be relevant for progression and relevant for Curse City. Decreased speed. No, we're good. I don't know what I can't remember off the top of my head who does put heal reduction on, which would let her die, but that's very interesting. I'd say she does seem to me, on initial look, she appears to me to be the weakest one, right? I think she looks to be the weakest, but I mean, as a single target killer, she could actually be insane, right? She could actually be very strong single target damage. I'm curious how that would go. Yeah, big single target damage if you got a decreased defense in there, like, could be really strong. I don't know. Yeah, initially she seems the least useful, but still could be insane. Let me know what you think. But yeah, again, guys, these are all of the 5 Monster Hunter crossover legendaries. And yeah, then that mythical as well. Insane champs. Like, I mean, across the board, these are crazy good champions. I would definitely... Yeah, I think these look to be super limited as well. It looks like either on the 27th of February or, like, 6 days later, I guess, on the 5th of March, like a week later, I don't know, they're gonna disappear from the game as obtainable champions. So yeah, go hard right now. Save your shards, I would say. Focus on getting these champions, is my opinion. I think they look insane. The Archer looks insane for Hydra, like crazy good for Hydra and crazy good for Curse City. Blade Master, I'm not sure about. She's obviously by far the easiest one to get. She's just a fusion. So we'll see. But well, actually, I guess the easiest one is just log in 7 days. He's the easiest, and he looks insanely good. Insanely good. Can't wait to test him as a boss. Massive damage dealer. Yeah, the Void guy could be nuts for Arena. In particular, he could be crazy. The Alatrion Blade Master is the one I'm perhaps least excited about. He just looks like a really, really, really solid support with protected buffs, defensive buffs and cleansing. Really solid. The other ones are doing like really unique stuff, though. They're really cool. And the mythical looks great. So there you go, guys. They are the new champions. Let me know which ones you want me to test out. I do believe I have access to all of them. Yeah, I've got access to them, which is cool here on the test server. We can build them. We can test them. We can make things go boom. So yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.